diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer. I was sent to see Dr. Bisi. She told me a little bit about clinical trials and the things that they have done.
Clinical trials test new drugs or new regimens or different ways of treating cancer against the current standard to see if the new interventions would be better than what we currently have.
More African Americans are diagnosed with cancer each year than any other racial or ethnic group in the U.S.
African Americans have a higher incidence of most cancers and a 30% higher cancer mortality rate. We don't know all the reasons behind these disparities, but our research gives us some clues, and clinical trials actually are how we get at the answers.
I've never met anyone who's been a part of a clinical trial before, and my daughter, she was concerned with the trial. She thought something would go wrong.
There are some well-founded reasons why there is mistrust in research, and it is actually because of well-documented historical abuses. I have told patients for years, if they want to ensure the absolute best care, then they want to request participation on a clinical study. And it is because the safeguards in clinical trials are multi-layered.
The IRB, Institutional Review Board, is a federally mandated review process to protect the safety of all those involved in research and to make sure history does not repeat itself. Today, there are many, many layers of federal regulations and quality control to make sure you are getting the best possible care. The laws exist to protect the individual patient.
We know that patients who are enrolled on studies today typically have a better outcome than those who are not enrolled in studies. Patients who are enrolled in studies are going to be getting nothing less than the standard of care, and often the oversight and quality assurance that goes along with it leads to a better outcome.
By participating in the clinical study, I felt like my care was going to be as good or better than anyone going into the clinical study.
Knowing that I'm going to be getting the front-of-the-line care that's very specific to the kind of cancer that I have, it was a no-brainer after I thought about it. Just like it really didn't take very long to consider and say, yes, this is what I want to do.
At the Siteman Cancer Center, we have a team of nearly 200 staff members who work on our clinical trials, and one specific person is assigned to each study. That person works with our doctors and nurses to help make sure research participants are safe at all times, and to provide additional assistance to any patients who may need it.
They are people who are really serious about what they're doing.
Participation in clinical trials is always voluntary, and you may leave the study anytime you or your doctor feel like it is not working for you. There are 3 types of clinical studies. When therapies have been shown to be effective in the lab, they move on to human trial. These Phase 1 trials have limited participation, are truly investigative, and are for people when all other options and standard treatments have been exhausted. When a treatment has been shown to be safe in humans, and we want to see how effective it is, a Phase 2 trial is designed and tested in a much larger group. If the results from Phase 2 trials are outstanding and researchers want to compare it with the current standard of care, a Phase 3 trial is started. Most Phase 3 trials are comparing the current standard of care to what was proven effective in the Phase 2 trial.
The treatment that we give today is based upon studies that we did a decade ago. We want to eliminate cancer in St. Louis and Missouri in the United States. The only way to do that is through clinical research.
Participating in a clinical trial is the best way to prevent cancer from developing. If it means that the knowledge that they gain from you being in the trial can help someone down the road, it's worth it.
If you are interested in learning more about clinical trials at the Siteman Cancer Center, ask your doctor or nurse if a clinical trial is available and appropriate for you.